Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Business Talks. I am your host, Chawanne Burns. In today's episode, we are going to discuss Kamala Harris. It's been some rumbling going on, some outrageous claims in regards to the previous election. You know, Donald Trump, last Tuesday, he clinched a victory over the weekend. Nevada or Arizona, actually was called. That race was called and then went towards Donald Trump. So right now he's standing at 312 electoral college votes. He has won the popular vote. So we're going to talk about some of the rumors, some of the things that outrageous claims or outrageous statements that liberals have made on CNN. It's kind of quite bizarre. Anyway, we'll talk about that. And then we're going to talk about Donald Trump. He's been pretty busy picking his cabinet. He has picked the border czar. I guess it was made, this decision was made either last night or this morning. Deputy Chief of Staff. He does have a Chief of Staff, Deputy Chief of Staff, border czar. And those are some of the new cabinet members that he has announced just these past, 24 to 48 hours. So we'll discuss that. And then I think I do have a story brewing on Tiffany Henyard. So we'll cover that. It'll probably take me about 5 or 10 minutes about that, to cover that. Okay, so you guys stay tuned for another episode of Business Talks. Something like this. Looks a little bit like I can miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. Looks a little something like this. Looks a little bit like I can miss. Hey, this is what you call a bad. What? This is what you call a bad. That's right. You guys put in the chat. Let me know where you're viewing from. Let's see who we have in the building. I see we have Anger Mismanagement. Good afternoon to you. Anger mismanagement he's saying, one name for me stands above the rest. Tom Homan. Exactly. You're absolutely right. He is a beast. Matter of fact, I have an old clip of AOC trying to question him and he totally destroys her. Like, come on. I believe Democrats or liberals, really progressive liberals, they like to use these buzzwords, try to make these terms and definitions to gaslight people, in terms to gaslight people and or to incite, I guess, some type of like, oh, this is such a detrimental to the U.S. We never done this before. And I think it's totally BS. Okay, so he calls her out on her BS in the line of questioning. Okay, so we'll take a look at that. Celeste Hodges is in the building. Thank you, Celeste. Hello from Texas. Got some good laughs this weekend. People hate losing. People hate and they're losing their mind. Yeah. Justin Thompson. Hello to you. Happy Veterans Day to everyone. And I really appreciate you and thank you for your service. Thank you, Justin. Larry Hudson is in the building. Hello. I can't stay long. I'm at work calls. Well, thank you for just saying hello. I really appreciate you. And truth over everything. Hello to you. Okay, so I'm not going to keep you guys for long. We're just going to get right into it. Truth over everything is saying one of Kamala's people is asking Biden to resign. And this is what I'm going to go over. He's asking Biden to resign in order to make Kamala Harris the 47th president. This guy is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay. Remember I shared with you a call and it was Kamala for Harris, men for Kamala Harris. This was the guy on the call crying. We gotta stand up, and us black men, we gotta stand up, and we gotta stand behind a black woman. Like, if you're a guy out there, women is a big turn off. Women don't like you crying. So you do have someone. Oh, why don't you get in touch with your feminine side? You can show emotion. Don't show your emotion. It's a sign of weakness. It is. It's a sign of weakness. And no, it's not attractive. So stop doing that. If you're one of those guys out there, you're real emotional, go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom. When you get home, cry. Don't be on national TV crying because it's not attractive. Anyway, I know I went off on a rant. I think maybe that's just the old school in me. I didn't have a daddy in the house crying and stuff. I don't view men that way. I view men, they're supposed to be strong, backbone, level headed. Women, yeah, but a guy don't, they know how to keep their emotions in check. And when you're crying, I feel like your emotions are not in check, and you're more of a female than a man. Anyway, get noticed with Nikki. I only seen my dad cry once. I don't think I ever seen my dad cry, to tell you the truth. I seen my husband cry once. When our first child was born, he was crying. Just a little drop. Our first child. The second child came along. It was like, But the first child, he was crying. But not profusely. It was like one drop, that kind of cry. But any other time, you don't see men cry. And I'm not trying to tell you not to cry, because there's certain things that you should be crying, but Kamala Harris is not one of them. Anyway. So we're going to get to our first story of the hour. I just want to share with you guys, this is like a side note. I don't know if you've dabbled in stocks, or you have a 401k, or a money market account, a 501. Is it called a 501? Account, IRA. I don't know where I get 501 account. Anyway, IRA or anything like that. Or if you have a Coinbase account and you dibble and dabble in stocks or in Bitcoin. Bitcoin, actually, it reached $84,000. Let me just pull it up. Bitcoin is right now at $84,000. When Trump won, it broke the 70,000. And let me just show it to you. Election, 7-day. Election was November the 5th. Election was called sometime that night. And you see it shot up. It shot up November the 5th. This is about the time when everybody said Trump had an 85% chance of winning. That was at midnight. Was at 74,000. Right now, Bitcoin is at 85. It's trading at 85.5 thousand. Never heard of. I think it's going to clear 100,000 this year. So if you're in Bitcoin, hopefully you got it at the low end. Well, I guess anything will be low end if you got in it, like I think it was a month or two ago, where it was down like 50 grand, or trading at about 50 grand, even in low 49s. So anyway, just had to share that with you. And there's, if you, I got a couple of, I was playing around with Shiba Inu. That's a meme coin. It's actually doing some damage too. So it's right now it's at 2/7 million of a cent right now, but it's been down. It's been down and out for the last year. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Stocks are going crazy right now. People are starting to see their portfolio take off. I know Tesla gained about 28%. I don't know if you have stocks in Tesla. They said it gained about 28% since the election. So it's been a lot of movement in the stock market. I think the S&P 500 is at its high. The indexes is at its highest trading. I see it was at like 40 something thousand at one point. I don't know what is it. what is it now or where is that now, but it's going crazy. So hopefully your portfolios is being blessed. You know, you want to make sure you watch it. These meme coins, I wouldn't suggest, unless you got extra money to play around with, but I wouldn't suggest investing in none of these. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. You guys put in the chat, let me know what you think, and if you got money in the stocks and you trade them yourself, let me know. I used to talk about stocks a lot about a year and a half ago. I don't know, you probably could catch some of my old videos because I used to do a lot of option trading. I don't do it too much now, but if you want to see more type of videos like that, just put it in the chat. Let me know. I'll probably come up with some videos so we could talk about it. Anyway, my next story, I want to get to where Donald Trump is picking his staff, okay? Donald Trump is picking his staff, and he actually made history with one of his staffs, okay? His chief of staff. This is the lady he... let me just pull it up. Donald Trump, chief of staff. She was managing his campaign for him. Okay, I think it was an excellent pick. How can you go wrong on this? I mean, she totally demolished Kamala Harris, chief of staff, and reason why he made history because she is the first woman ever to serve as chief of staff in the office in the White House. So he made history. And his name is or her name is Susie Wiles. Susie Wiles. They said I think this is her right here, Susie Wiles. So she was the campaign manager for his campaign this year. And it's saying so far President Trump has announced Caroline Leavitt is the first new national press secretary. So this is Caroline Leavitt, and Susie Wiles is the first ever female chief of staff. But they said he was misogynist, pig, weird. I don't know why they label him that. I mean, I don't know why you would label Donald Trump a misogynist. As far as, I would. I don't know why they did that. Anyway, so everybody's happy that he selected her. Now, this other guy that he picked, the deputy chief, Donald. He just picked him this morning, and his name is Stephen Miller. I think he worked for the last administration, but I'm not for sure. It says President-elect Trump will announce Stephen Miller as White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, according to CNN. Miller served as the senior advisor to Trump in his first term. Yeah, I thought he was there. His face looked familiar. Has been a leader in Donald Trump's plan to carry out mass deportation of illegals. Okay, so this is them sitting on a panel with CPAC. You guys, I forgot to share it with you. I'm sorry about that. Matter of fact, I'll circle back around, but let me know if you could see this, or hear this video and see it.
Of our southern border, many of them. And so I'm going to start this with Stephen Miller, who's been the tip of the spear on immigration. What should we be doing in a Trump 47 administration to fix this disaster this invasion of our southern border?
Well, as I say sometimes, the immigration issue is extremely simple. The policies involved in fixing it are very complicated. The simple part is seal the border, deport all the illegals. Now, that's the short answer, right? You get in, you have two policy objectives that you proceed with utter determination on. Seal the border, no illegals in, everyone here goes out. That's very straightforward. In terms of the policy sets to accomplish this, as President Trump showed in his first term, it's a series of interlocking domestic and foreign policies to accomplish this goal. In no particular order, just to rattle off a few fast, you have your Safe Third agreements, you have Remain in Mexico, finish the wall, you have robust prosecutions of illegal aliens, you do interior repatriation flights to Mexico and not back to the north of Mexico. It's very important. You re-implement Title 42. You have several muscular 212Fs. That's the travel ban authority. We did a few of those in the Trump administration. You would bring those back and add new ones on top of that. You would establish large-scale staging grounds for removal flights. So you grab illegal immigrants and then you move them to the staging grounds, and that's where the planes are waiting for federal law enforcement to then move those illegals home. You deputize the National Guard to carry out immigration enforcement. And then you also deploy the military to the southern border, not just with a mission to observe, but with an impedance and denial mission. In other words, you reassert the fundamental constitutional principle that you don't have a right to enter into our sovereign territory, to even request the asylum claim. The military has the right to establish a fortress position on the border and to say no one can cross here at all.
Yes.
Yeah, and I was just reading, they were saying that the Mexico president, that Jewish lady, I don't know how she ended up getting elected in Mexico as the president, but she's Jewish, but I guess she's Jewish Mexican. She ended up, I read an article saying that she was kind of nervous about Donald Trump, but they did speak to each other, I believe it was a couple of days ago. They're saying Trump holds a cordial call with Mexico's president.
President-elect Trump brought up the issue of the border during his first call with Mexico's president. During a conference today, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said that her first conversation with President-elect Trump was cordial. Both reportedly congratulated each other on electoral wins. She said at one point the former president brought up the issue of the border, but Sheinbaum says the two leaders will have room to talk about it. It's not clear if Sheinbaum will attend the president-elect's inauguration.
Anyway, she ought to be nervous because, we could say Stephen Miller was kind of stern, but I want to share this with you guys. Stephen Miller has nothing on Tom Homan. Tom Homan, he was, I forget what position he held during Trump administration, but he served as in Homeland Security. But, Donald Trump actually appointed him as the border czar. And he talked to Fox today and also, just putting forth what he plans to do or how he plans to enact Trump's border policy. And he pointed out several things that Biden's administration overturned, and this is why we have, of course, a weak border. But I want to share, before I share the talk with Fox News that he did yesterday or this morning, I want to share this line of questioning. And Homan was not playing around. He was not playing around with AOC. And remember, I mentioned earlier when we first started, liberals like to use these terms, I guess, to gaslight the individual that they're questioning, or to use this term in a manner, or terms in a manner in such a way like, oh, this term means something different, okay? And it actually means the same thing that we've been doing forever, okay? You're just using different words, and you're trying to make it sound like, oh, this is such a terrible thing. No, We do it all the time. We do it to American citizens, and this is what he's going to explain. We do it to American citizens all the time. We have the right to do it to them too, okay? And they're talking about family separation.
When I was a police officer.
Mr. Holman, your name is on this. Is this correct?
Yes, I signed that memo.
So you are the author of the family separation policy?
I am not the author of this memo.
You're not the author, but you signed the memo.
Yes, a zero tolerance memo.
So you provided the official recommendation to Secretary Nielsen on for the United States to pursue family separation.
I gave Secretary Nielsen numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives.
But it says here that you gave her numerous options, but the recommendation was option 3, family separation.
What I'm saying, this is not the only paper where we've given the Secretary numerous options to secure the border and save lives.
And so the recommendation, of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommend a zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their.
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father from his
Holman,
family.
with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
AOC, what you got to say about that? AOC, what do you have to say about that? If you get arrested and if you have children, you're essentially separated from your family. And if no one's there to take care of them, they go into the ward of a state. They will be in custody of the state, okay? Child Protective Services. If there's no one else in the household or an immediate family member that could get to them right away. Donald, you right. Holman looks like he'll deport his whole family. He don't play. If you in here illegally, he's gonna deport you. So he's not there to play. So I just had to play. This was an old clip of her she was essentially trying to gaslight Mr. Holman, on his decision-making policies, but he's just following the letter to the rule, or the rule by the letter. Okay. So this next clip I want to share with you guys. This is him just explaining on what he will be doing and, some of the things that Joe Biden enacted or overturned in his administration, and what he's going to do is reenact those, or have President Trump reenact those, and he's going to go state by state, and he gives out a warning on this. Okay, so you guys pay attention. These governors acting like, oh, you're not going to enter into my state. Take a look. He is not playing around.
We're going to do the job without you. Soon, Trump, he was suing the sanctuary cities, DOJ suing the sanctuary cities, pulling federal funds. Of course, day one, when Joe Biden came in office, he stopped that lawsuit. So that has to be put back in place. And look, I've seen some of these Democratic governors say they're going to stand in the way. They're going to make it hard for us. Well, a suggestion: if you're not going to help us, get the hell out of the way, but we're going to do it. So if we can't get assistance from New York City, and we may have to double the number of agents we send to New York City, because we're going to do the job. We're going to do the job without you or with you. But it's much easier to arrest a bad guy. Like I just said, we're concentrating on public safety threats of human and national security threats. Right. It's much easier to arrest a bad guy in the jail. Give us access to Rikers Island that we've been kicked out of. Let us get the bad guy in the jail. It's safer for the alien. It's safer for the officer. It's safer for the community. But if you're going to release Trump,
So basically, he said if you don't help, he's going to send extra border agents to round these people up and get them out of here. And it's safer for them to have access to your prison system if they're locked up. It is safer so you won't have to apprehend them in the public. So we could actually take them out of the prison system and ship them back to where they belong. Okay? So Tom Homan is not messing around. Okay? He is going to make sure Trump's plan is initiated. Not ordinary. Peace at Chawanne and everyone in the chat. I hope you all are having a great day catching up. Thank you. Celeste is saying AOC is dumb as rocks. Larry, I like to see 2012 Trump recall the catchphrase, you're fired. Exactly. If you don't want to be apprehended, don't commit the crime. Exactly. Could cross the border legally through the port of entries. That's the only way you could cross into the United States legally. And first, we got to call your name. Usually they do a background check. There's certain classes that you have to take. They just don't let people over here. And they do it in any other country. Why can't we do it here? We just let everybody over here? Come on now. Get noticed with Nikki. Why do people say it's against the law to deport illegal people? It's not. It's not. They're saying that because they're saying they're in sanctuary cities, but the federal law supersedes the state law. So if the federal government wants to come in and deport you, they have every right to. That's why I don't know if you guys, he was kind of talking fast when I first, at the first part of his video. Donald Trump, I don't know if it was Donald Trump was suing the state or the states was trying to sue the federal government to stop them from coming into the state to deport these people. This was during President Trump's term. But then when Biden came in, he put a halt to this lawsuit. Lenny Malley is saying 18 likes. Please hit the like button and subscribe button. You guys, I really appreciate you. Derek Cannon, unvetted. Yeah, these unvetted illegal aliens are in our country. And people are crying. I can't imagine you being the governor and you saying, and you're being overwhelmed with all these illegal aliens. Like about a month ago, maybe six months ago, we were doing stories about how they was mad as hell at the governor of Texas for sending them all these illegals, saying we can't sustain, we need federal help. Well, you're a asylum seeker, safe haven, sanctuary city, so why do you have a problem with it? Now, then you was crying like, no, don't send us no more or take them back. Now, Donald Trump is in office. He said he's going to take them back. He's going to send them home. And you're like, oh, we're prepared to fight. Like Letitia James, I showed you Friday. She talking about, was it Thursday? We studied your fight pattern. Like, come on, Letitia, cut it out. Hair Life and Style TV lost a client voting for Trump. You got to kind of keep it on the hush hush. You guys, this voting for Trump. And it is crazy because if you look at the statistics, if you are a black female, it's only 7% out of you, 70% of the people, black females that voted, only 7% of you voted for Trump. So it's not many of it. And I know I'm one of them, and I know one girlfriend, and when I have to complain about other people talking about Trump, and I just don't want to get into it because sometimes it's like you're talking to, you ever try to argue with somebody and they don't have enough information for them to make an intelligent argument. So it's almost pointless to even try to explain. They don't have enough intelligent data. It's almost like arguing with a child. It's like, okay, I can't argue with you. I can't even explain to you because you have so much misinformation inside your brain, you don't even know what I'm talking about. That's how I feel. So I just kind of like, okay, let's move to something else. Unless they start asking me inquisitive questions, then I'll be able to articulate to them, oh, you should look at this video. And I explain to them, I never tell people, oh, this is the way it should be. No, I will ask them questions on why do they think that, and then I will throw some knowledge at them in a way that they can handle it. Okay, you can't throw too much information. Just parse it out. Anyway, Blacks for Trump here. Lenny is saying Heinz 57 mutts for Trump. I don't know why'd you say that. I'm my magazine. They getting paid off the illegals. I believe so. Yeah. If you go back to, I think if you look at Chicago, and they're in a huge deficit, but they received a whole bunch of federal dollars or even state tax dollars for migrants to come in, and then they're paying their health fees and health insurance, education, rent, subsidized rent, and food. They're giving them, and I don't even think they get subsidized rent. They're just paying their rent. Anyway, they're giving all this money to migrants, okay? And it seems like, there's no checks and balances with this money. Who's auditing this money? And I've said months ago, that they should do an audit about the money that was given to these sanctuary cities, because it seemed like they're not doing nothing with it. Anger Mismanagement is saying CBP One app, it lets everyone in, no medical test, no background. The left uses the app to call them legal asyluses. Yeah. Truth over everything. Venezuela's gang is taking over Colorado, New York, Dallas. Oh, and New York is busing and flying legals back to Texas. What? Eric Adams, I guess since President Trump won the election, he started giving vouchers to illegals. It says, city to end program giving migrant vouchers for food. And that's in New York City. New York City is ending a program that provides migrants staying in city-funded hotels with prepaid debit cards that can use to purchase food. The one-year contract by Mobility Capital Finance, known as MoCA Finance or MoCA-Fi, will be allowed to expire next year, according to the city official. The system's been providing 2,600 families with vouchers, with 3.2 million loaded onto the cards since the program started. What? You got 2,600 people. They must 2,600 people at a time. I'm confused. I'm really confused. I'm trying to figure out. That's $1,200. So they give them about $1,200. A family of 4 young children is eligible for $350 a week. That's a lot of food. They spending $350 a week. I guess if you gotta buy baby formula, I don't know. That's a lot of food, $350. But I guess prices of groceries in New York is even higher in Michigan, or higher than Michigan. Anyway, so that's that. So they're not playing around. Donald Trump, he is making moves. I know he talked to Hamas, some leader from Hamas organization over the weekend, the prime minister of Israel. He already talked to Putin and Zelensky. He talked to Mexico. He ain't even in office yet, and he's been making so many moves. He's made more progress in these 7 days than Joe Biden and Kamala Harris did in the last 3.5 years. Hamas is talking about, yeah, we want a ceasefire. Like, come on now. Hamas called them. Hamas found Donald Trump's phone number, and it was like, yeah, we do want a ceasefire. This is what I'm saying. I know this might be sexist and chauvinist, but would Kamala have had this same response that Donald Trump, or same results that Donald Trump is getting? I don't think so. Because if she would have, they would have been calling her already. She's in office. Her or Joe Biden. I can't speak to Joe Biden, second in command. Let me speak to Kamala. I don't know. Or would they ever say, let me speak to Kamala because she's a woman? Probably not. I really don't think so. But anyway, making much, much progress. The progress he's made in the 7 days is surpassing what they've made in 3.5 weeks. It's funny, but it's kind of sad. It's really sad at this point. But Donald Trump he's not playing around, and he's sticking to his agenda. He also came out, he was talking about the educational system. He did a special press conference about how he's stripping the federal oversight of the federal education system to cut down the budget and put more powers back to the state. There will be some federal oversight, but it's not going to be as big, and he mentioned that we pay more per child for education, and we are way less educated. Does that make any sense? Our kids are way less educated than like China and all these other countries, and they pay less per child. So he's trimming the fat. That's what it's called. Trimming the fat, cutting down the budget, and in turn, it would do what? Lower the deficit. Hello. Lower the deficit. I know liberals, they don't know nothing about budgeting. You see that after you heard the debacle with Kamala Harris spending her campaign finance. She's $20 million in the hole. But anyway, once you cut the fat, you lower the deficit. You get out of debt. Once you get out of debt, hey, we could lower our taxes. Lower your people's taxes. This is America. And America first. We should be first. Not sending all our money to Ukraine and Israel and Hamas. I mean, it's real confusing. Why would you do that? But that's what they're doing. You got all these national or foreign aids that we're doing, and you can't even get the homeless people off the street. To me, it doesn't make any sense. So he's planning to trim the fat, and I'm so happy that he's will be taking over. Anyway, so you guys put it in chat and let me know what you think. Going to our next story. This is real bizarre. Now, liberals scream and mad and they cry and they get really upset with you when you say, yeah, Kamala Harris is a DEI. Kamala Harris, she is a DEI. Let's go back to 2019 and early 2020 when Joe Biden was running and he was essentially elected in the primaries, okay? And they threatened and screamed at him and said, you better pick a black woman. That's what they told him. So he got a list. I don't know if you guys remember on one of those papers. I don't know if it was the Washington Post, but it was one paper and it had the girl that lost the governor's seat, the lieutenant governor in California, I believe, Kamala Harris, Susan Elizabeth Warren, some other, I think Amy Klobuchar, and what's the girl name that I always get on? She lost the governor's seat in Atlanta or Georgia. But anyway, she's a loser too. But anyway, she was on there. She was on there, and Kamala Harris. Everybody was like, "You better pick a black woman." And so he ended up picking Kamala Harris. You better pick a black woman. So you shame Biden to pick the black woman. Okay. Was she the most qualified black woman? I'm not for sure. It don't even matter if they said, and I just remember Angela Rye saying he better pick a black woman. It better be a black woman, or we ain't coming out to the polls. That's exactly what she said, Angela Rye. But what I'm getting at is it wouldn't have mattered if he picked a black woman or a woman. It still would have been DEI because you forced him to pick a woman. So he got this fake Indian black lady, okay? She's really an Indian and Irish, but he ended up getting, she's close to black. She'll do. Easy on the eye, I guess. So he get Kamala Harris. So now, fast forward to today. They mad as hell that Kamala Harris lost, They went through the news cycle. They're mad, they're upset. Now they're analyzing, they're starting to blame people. It was Biden. I heard Pelosi saying it was Biden. He could have got out the race sooner. Then other people were saying, you're not in touch with the American people, which is true. And then now you have the guy I was telling you about that likes crying. Okay. He likes crying. And he goes to say, Dems should consider future Supreme Court under Trump. Okay. He wants to consider let me just find what his name is. I hate just saying he. What is the guy's name? His name is Bakari. No, okay, this is a different one. Bakari Sellers is saying. Oh no, this is Bakari Sellers. Real wild claim. He wants Kamala Harris to be installed. He wants the lady to step down, Sotomayor. So it's her step down because she's getting up there, and he wants Kamala Harris to be installed as a Supreme Court justice. That's what he's saying.
Liberal. And so I hope that Joe Biden makes the next 10 weeks as consequential as he can. I don't care about drawing outside the lines or what Republicans may think about it. This is within your purview. You can actually do it, and you should do it. And, one more thing, John, is you have a hell of a vice president right there who has a legal pedigree to sit on the Supreme Court, and let Republicans go crazy and ape. I'm even mentioning that option.
You floating? Are you floating? This is 7:39 a.m. on the East Coast. Did Bakari Sellers just float Vice President Kamala Harris as a potential Supreme Court nominee?
Not only am I floating it, but I want to stir up everything. I want people's heads to explode this morning, so we go into the weekend just knowing that the chaos has not ended just yet.
So you get mad that we say Kamala Harris is a DEI. And now you want to float the idea where he or she is elected to Supreme Court justice. It doesn't make any sense. This is what he said.
Liberal. And so I hope that Joe Biden makes the next 10 weeks as consequential as he can. I don't care about drawing outside the lines or what Republicans may think about it. This is within your purview. You can actually do it, and you should do it. And, one more thing, John, is you have a hell of a vice president right there who has a legal pedigree to sit on the Supreme Court, and let Republicans go crazy and ape. I'm even mentioning that option.
Are you floating? This is 7:39 a.m. on the East Coast. Did Bakari Sellers just float Vice President Kamala Harris as a potential Supreme Court nominee?
Not only am I floating it, but I want to stir up everything. I want people's heads to explode this morning, so we go into the weekend just knowing that the chaos has not ended just yet. Liberal. And so I hope that Joe Biden makes the next 10 weeks as consequential as he can. I don't care about drawing outside the lines or what Republicans may think about.
He's saying consequential. That's just chaotic. Just imagine Kamala Harris being a Supreme Court justice. Number one, she's lazy. This lady is lazy. I don't know what their caseload is on at the Supreme Court justice level. I don't know, but I know it's a lot of reading, and decision making. And you're telling Kamala Harris you want her to do that, okay? And she's batty. She is a nut job. No, she would never get confirmed. Never. Anyway. So he floated around that idea. And then you had this other nut job. This is Jamal Simmons. Jamal Simmons I don't know why these black men are saying these crazy things, but this is what I guess they're championing for the black women, I guess. But they're saying these outlandish things. And he briefly made a suggestion that Joe Biden should resign so Kamala Harris can become the 47th president just for 2 or 3 months. Well, it will be what, 1 month? Okay.
I'll start with you.
Joe Biden's been a phenomenal president. He's lived up to so many of the promises he's made. There's one promise left that he could fulfill, being a transitional figure. He could resign the presidency in the next 30 days, make Kamala Harris the president of the United States.
Whoa.
It would absolve her from being able to, from having to oversee the January 6th transition, right, of her own defeat. And it would make sure that it would dominate the news at a point where Democrats have to learn drama and transparency and doing things that the public want to see is the time. This is the moment for us to change the entire perspective of how Democrats
operate. This
operate.
has now jumped from an internet meme to a Sunday morning show.
Jamal's out here right now.
Congratulations.
Season of House of Cards.
I thought you were going to say, what about the Supreme Court? That's also out there.
Well, the Supreme Court might happen. I don't know if it will, but I think this is something that's in Joe Biden's control. And if he did it, it would fulfill his last promise. It would give Kamala Harris the chance to be the 47th president of the United States of America. It would disrupt all of Donald Trump's paraphernalia, right? He'd have to rebrand everything. But and it would make it easier for the next woman who runs for president to not have to worry about all the historical, weight of being the first. We can solve this problem.
I have something that's a lot more realistic.
I don't even know what to say. I don't know, was he playing or was he serious? I think he was serious, though. This guy literally said Joe Biden should step down and really own up to what he said. He was going to be the transitional president and transition Kamala Harris into the White House for 1 month in 35 days? Well, it might be 2 months, right? That's what he wants Joe Biden to do. If the people didn't elect her, why would they want her to? Well, it might appease some of these crazy liberals that's like going all crazy. But I think 60 days is too long for Kamala to have a pen. You guys put in the chat. 60 days is too long. Maybe, they installed Trump on January the 7th. When's the inauguration? January 21st? Inauguration day is January the 21st. But anyway, what I'm getting at, maybe on January the 20th, he can do that. And it better be a weekend where nobody is there. So, because I can't imagine giving Kamala Harris a pen. Well, any authority. Can you imagine that? Get to some of your chat. Brandon 1050. God, these black men, they get a paycheck and to talk trash. I don't know why it's a paycheck. Lenny is saying Joe Biden ain't going to give Kamala Harris. Yeah, he ain't going to give Kamala Harris anything. She ran a coup against his sitting president, named Joe Biden, and throw him off the ticket. Why would Joe Biden give her anything exactly? Cher is saying Justin would love to see Kamala Harris questioned by Jay Kennedy from Louisiana. That would be internet gold. Oh, yeah. You know, it would be at her confirmation or whatever the line that I guess that wouldn't be a confirmation hearing. That would just be a hearing, right? But anyway, that would be a sight to see, her getting questioned. I would like to see her getting questioned on statues and things that's obvious that she doesn't know. Because remember, Ketanji Brown, what's her name? Ketanji Brown, when she was confirmed, they asked her what was a woman, and she didn't know what a woman was. And the only reason why she was able to get through is because they had the majority. Anyway. Derek, we're done with the drama. Exactly. Alma saying no. Brandon, even the celebrities that came out to endorse her, it wasn't for free. Exactly. Oprah Winfrey charged her $1 million. That don't make no damn sense. Democrats equal drama. The Rainbow Crew, wow. I always knew they had the strongest drugs. Not a snowball's chance in hell. Exactly. These people are freaking crazy. They're nuts. They're nuts. Now, they're getting down to just normal stuff, like just normal stuff. This guy, he's gonna say, something normal. Everybody had normal things to say. Even the crazy bulgy-eyed black girl, she's usually crazy. That she's always announcing she's a lesbian. She has something. I mean, it was still stupid, but it wasn't as wild as the other guy.
There are 7 Americans right now in dungeons in Gaza. If Hamas does not have them walking and talking on American soil before Donald Trump is president, they will have hell to pay. And I'm looking for that to happen in the next 70 days.
We haven't actually heard a lot from Donald Trump. I know he's like getting his administration put together, but it would actually be nice if he goes to the White House if he is the president for all, if he is the president for Americans, talk to the people who did not vote for him and earn our trust to say, other night you said like Democrats should let us work. Talk to us then, engage us. Don't just continue to feed your base and continue to throw red meat. Be the leader that both of you think he can be.
You're already showing some good faith with that beautiful red suit this morning. Here's what I want. A couple things. Number one.
Wait, do you want to say something?
Go ahead.
Do you think I want to say something?
I think that was a good request, but would you receive him? I mean, maybe she's starting to realize how screwy Democrats are. because of the election, and the lies that they've been telling, the propaganda that they've been spreading. But I wouldn't hold any weight to what I'm saying, because next week when Donald Trump does something, they're going to be talking shit about him and trying to spin it like, oh, he's such a threat to democracy. But you haven't heard that lately. Have you heard threat to democracy? No, you haven't. Even Dana Bash, she was given I forget what senator was on her show earlier this day, but anyway, she's still sounding cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but they haven't been using that term threat to democracy, But so I don't think her request was a bad request. Now, would they receive Donald Trump? I still don't think so, because he talked like that. If I pull up his old inauguration, he was saying unity and we're giving the power back to the people and all that stuff. Nobody accepted it. They thought he was lying, I guess. I don't know.
I think if Ashley wanted to say something, she would say it.
My mother is
She
watching.
wants to say something.
My mother is watching, so I will be on my best man.
Actually, you just did.
I
Go
know.
ahead.
I met Mama this week, and she's beautiful and a lovely person, so that was fun. Here, a couple things. Number one, if I was over in Tehran and I had just hacked and tried to assassinate Donald Trump, and now he's fixing to take over the United States military again, I'd probably be a little worried. On the domestic front, there's a political science term for what Republicans did this week. It's called a country butt whooping. And they have a mandate to govern. And one thing I want to see them do is get a handle on the bureaucracy. They're meeting at the Pentagon right now about possibly thwarting Donald Trump. You've got a rogue FEMA employee out here. We're not going to give aid to people with Donald Trump signs. The bureaucracy works for the people. The people elect the leaders. And I want to see Donald Trump follow through on this idea of taming the federal bureaucracy.
Schedule F.
Okay.
Al Gore
Everybody-
loved the reinventing government.
Rigo.
God bless you guys. I hope it
Yeah,
works out.
good luck.
Yeah, that Russell Simmons guy, or whatever his name is, Jamal Simmons, he's a nut job. I don't know where he get that from. I guess he's champion for black women. Now, this is a great segue into my next story that I want to talk about. The lady from FEMA was fired. I guess it was a text message that was revealed. She was like the supervisor of FEMA, and she was telling or instructing some of the employees, if you see someone with the Trump sign in Florida, do not render aid. Do not go to their house. Do not ask them if they need help. And she was fired. Now, one thing I do want to point out, let me see, FEMA employee. One thing I do want to point out that I don't know why they don't got the link on here. Let me share this with you. As far as FEMA, they still haven't, and I think he was going to win North Carolina anyway. But this is why I think the election went the way it was, because everybody is playing politics when people need help. And you can't do that. People get pissed off. I need help and you paying politics. Who cares what type of sign I have in my yard? I just experienced a hurricane. There's massive flooding. I don't have running water. I don't have lights. I have a flood in my basement. I have to move. Whatever the case may have been. You should have helped. Your job is not to make any political decisions or make any decisions based off of the political affiliation of the individual. This is America. We're not a communist country, but I truly think some Democrats want us to be a communist country where we don't have a decision to make on elections or who we should choose to be our leaders. If there's an outbreak or pandemic, we can't choose to whether or not to take the vaccine. I truly believe some of these crazy nut jobs want us to be in a communist society. Anyway, this is an individual. I guess she was a FEMA supervisor. It says implement best practices. Not one goes anywhere alone, which is good. Avoid homes advertising Trump. How's that a best practice? Practice de-escalation and preventative measures. Communicate and follow the rules. Bring a towel with you tomorrow in the field. Frequent breaks and drink water. Avoid high salt diets and coffee. Coconut water is a fast way to replenish your electrolytes quickly. I'm assuming because it was hot. That's what I'm assuming. But this is what she instructed her crew. She instructed her crew to avoid signs advertising for Trump. Okay. A FEMA employee was fired. And they did a story in Reuters or Rutgers or whatever you want to call it. And they're saying FEMA employee fired for Argentina to not help homes with signs backing Trump. And then, the head of the agency, I forget what her name is, Deanne Criswell. She made a statement. It says this is a clear violation of FEMA's core values and principles to help people regardless of their political affiliation. And that's what she put this on X. This employee has been terminated, and we have referred the matter to the Office of Special Counsel. Because you got to wonder, okay, what ground did you cover? How long has she been telling her people this, the people that's her subordinates? And how many houses did you miss? Because you're in Florida. So literally every house probably will have a Trump sign. I mean, come on now. If you think about it, like she was covering Tampa, Florida. They're probably all Trumpers, right? And so they're saying Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said his state division of emergency management will launch an investigation into the issue. The comments from the FEMA administrator and DeSantis did not mention the exact time frame or location of the incident. FEMA workers have helped Florida residents recover from the last month's devastating Hurricane Milton. The agency, already short of money, was also recently hit by disinformation campaign. This wasn't a disinformation campaign. What are they talking about? Mayorkas came online and said we gave too much money to the illegals, and we're not going to have enough money to see us through all the natural disasters in 2024. And then your girl Kamala Harris made a press conference saying we're giving residents $750. She said it just like that. We're giving residents $750, and then everybody got mad at us because you put it on the notes. So what are you talking about? Disinformation. No, it's not disinformation. If it was misinformation, maybe, because you misinformed us. So you got the money or not? Probably not, because we know a lot of people still haven't been serviced in Florida and in North Carolina, especially in the mountains. Anyway, so they're saying FEMA has a workforce of 22,000 people that can swell to 50,000 active members during the major disaster. It has 10 regional offices, capacity to coordinate resources from across the federal government. This was reprehensible. I want to be clear to all my employees and the American people that this type of behavior and action, I just want to make sure you guys can see it. This type of behavior and action will not be tolerated at FEMA, and we will hold people accountable if they violate these standards of conduct. This is what Criswell said, okay, after she terminated the employee, okay. So that is that. You guys put in a comment. Let me know what you think about that. I think it's funny how they keep on putting disinformation, misinformation. No, you told us. It's all over the internet. We saw videos and tapes of the vice president saying, we're going to give $750. Let me find it. Because I think to me, she sounded just like that in my head. Kamala Harris. $750 video. Look, listen to this. This is the video.
FEMA providing $750 for folks who need immediate needs being met. If you have electricity, it can be applied for online, and I encourage people to do that. FEMA providing $750 for folks.
FEMA providing $750. Like, we didn't make it up. She on video saying it. She on the, how's that misinformation? Maybe she got the wrong amount. If FEMA even came online, they came on, they went on the FEMA website and put a statement out. Because they're going to provide more than $750. They didn't say the amount. They was just saying, I guess it's based on your need. Probably it could be less than $750. Anyway. And they got a bunch of memes out. That somebody put this check. Somebody put this check out. One-time disaster relief. Anyway, so like I said, they trying to say, oh, that's misinformation. No, this is why X was trending. I guess now they're the number one downloaded app in America as far as social media apps. They're number one. And then in Spain they're number one, and I guess a few other countries they end up charting being number one or number two. Anyway, but this is why social media exists, and this is why social media is taken off, is because legacy media, no one trusted. And this is why Donald Trump won, because no one trusts legacy media anymore. We can't trust you because you lie so much. And then you try to gaslight us like we didn't hear what we heard. Like we're the crazy people. Anyway. Yeah, so they tried to gaslight us like we didn't hear what they were saying, or we made this up. So let me get to some of your comments. Tyrone Price is saying, Chawanne Burns, hello. President-elect Trump's CIA pick was Kash Patel. Okay. That's something new. I didn't know that. Donald, thank you for the super sticker. Lenny is saying, if you don't read the fine print at the bottom of the paper, any money you get from FEMA, you have to pay it back or lose your land and property at the end of the year. Oh, I didn't know that. We got it on tape. That'll be around forever. Exactly. Trump wrote a $1 million personal check for the victim recovery and stayed his ass out the way. Yeah, and he also, the people that were coming down to help with the power lines and those emergency management crews, he let them stay at the hotel for free. God bless you too, Lenny. Okay. So my final story, I just want to talk about Tiffany Henyard real quick before I get off. So I don't know if you guys remember Tiffany Henyard and the Village of Dalton trustees were going at it about her appointments. I'm just trying to pull it one. So she tried to illegally appoint 3 people. Okay, the administrator. She wanted Keith Price as the administrator to replace Keith Freeman, but Keith Freeman is still working from his home. She wanted to replace the lawyer. And she also wanted to replace the chief. Okay? Because Lacey was laid off. The trustees, the board of trustees, laid him off. This is not the one I want. Okay, let me see if you guys can see this. Okay, you can't see this. Now, the board of trustees were laid off. They fired the lawyer. You guys know that, Delgado. Okay. They fired the lawyer, and then they fired the chief of police. Okay. And they didn't fire Keith Freeman, but they wanted to fire Keith Freeman. But I guess he ended up working with them and actually cooperating with them so they could get financial documents, financial information. So they didn't want to fire him. Anyway. Long story short, Tiffany Henyard, she wanted to appoint these people, and they had to sue her for illegal appointment. And then the judge granted them a restraining order against her new appointees. Now, if I was them, because I believe the restraining order was violated when she showed up to the meeting with the new lawyer, she shouldn't have been there. But this is the story.
Control of South Suburban Dalton. An attorney for trustees opposed to Mayor Tiffany Henyard say a judge has granted a temporary restraining order blocking several of her recent moves to consolidate power. She appointed a new village manager, village attorney, and police chief. Trustees argue Henyard doesn't have the power to make those staff changes without their consent. They believe the judge's decision will force Henyard to seek their approval for new hires.
Okay, so she needs to get approval for new hires. Okay, so fast forward to yesterday, or I guess this came out Friday. So Friday, it looks like the judge lifted this restraining order. Okay, lifted this restraining order, and the judge was saying, yeah, you could actually hire the temporary chief. I call him Barney Fife. I forget what the guy's name is, but he's allowed to come in and he could it's supposed to, they could take in effect for 30 days, the judge rules. Okay, it says Dalton Mayor village appointments can take effect for 30 days, judge rules. Hopefully we could come together and get this thing taken care of, because each time we go to court, it's the taxpayer end up losing. And this is what she had to say on this.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard facing pushback over who will run the village and the police department. NBC5's Regina Waldrop with the latest.
So at issue here are some key positions that the mayor wants to fill, including police chief. Now, they didn't get board approval last night, but happening today in court, some of them can serve for a limited time. After not having a police chief for most of the year, the village of Dalton now has an interim chief along with an interim village attorney.
The judge clarified what has taken place based upon last night's meeting. So Mr. Burge will serve as the police chief for the next 29 days. Ms. Lockett will serve as the village attorney for the next 29 days. Then the mayor will have to come up with new names for both of those positions.
In September, Mayor Tiffany Henyard's appointments to several key village posts were blocked in court. A majority of trustees contended they were illegal because the village board didn't vote on them, and a judge agreed. At Wednesday night's board meeting, trustees said no to 4 appointments by the mayor, including an executive assistant and special counsel. Henyard moved to make some appointments temporary. And as for a permanent police chief, well, some trustees say they're not opposed to conducting a search.
That's the right way it should be done. And I'm sure the trustees would want it to go that way. So hopefully that we all can come together on one accord and get this thing taken care of soon.
While the hearing was to be in person, Henyard and her attorney appeared via Zoom. In a statement, her attorney told NBC5, serving the needs of Dalton's residents and following all legal processes has always been the mayor's position. That position was strengthened today by the court's approval of her appointments of the village police chief and village attorney. This matter heads back to court December 16th, and the judge says all parties must appear in person. Regina Waldrop.
Now, okay, it sounded like things was moving in Tiffany's favor. She had one up, right? That's what it sounds like. Hopefully you guys, you heard that, right? He's not even an officer. Yes, this is what you beat me to the punch. He's not even an officer. You beat me to the punch, Carrington. So now, let me see. Where is mine? He's not even an officer. It looks as if chief of police. What's his name? Ronnie Burgess, I think. Chief. I thought I had the story queued up, but now it's not. It is queued up, okay. So let me share this. Now, it's saying the state agency warns Tiffany Henyard about the guy she's trying to put in office. He's not even active as an officer.
Tonight, the state agency that regulates local law enforcement in Illinois says Mayor Tiffany Henyard's handpicked police chief is not right now legally qualified to run the department or even serve as an officer. Fox 32 obtained a letter sent by the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board to Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard on Friday regarding her appointment of Ronald Burge Sr. as Dalton Police Chief. Henyard appointed Burge as top cop in September over the objections of the majority of the Dalton trustees, who say she can't make appointments without their consent. In the letter, the deputy director of the Training and Standards Board tells Henyard that Burge is considered inactive because Dalton has not submitted the proper paperwork on his behalf, and because Burge has not completed a requalification shoot since 2021 when he was with the Dixmoor Police Department. For these reasons, he is currently not authorized to exercise law enforcement authority or to carry a firearm publicly, the letter says. We strongly encourage you to remove him from public service until an appointment is submitted and the board determines if he is eligible for reactivation and a training waiver. Last month, Dalton trustees were granted a restraining order preventing Burge from serving without the board's approval. But after a chaotic village board meeting on Wednesday, the judge agreed with Henyard that Burge could serve as police chief on an interim basis for 30 days until a new chief is selected. The letter also includes a stern reminder to Henyard of your duty to conduct a thorough background check of Mr. Burge's criminal and employment history before making your determination of employment. Now, it's unclear just how much Burge has actually been working at the Dalton Police Department since his appointment. I spoke tonight to Dalton trustee Jason House, who told me they will likely now go back to court with that letter and try to convince the judge that Burge should not even be serving in an interim capacity.
I mean, you can't make this up. You literally can't make this up. You come in emboldened. Hey, I'm going to appoint my people and I don't care if you like it. This is Tiffany. I don't care if you like it. I could do whatever I want because I'm the mayor. And she comes in, appoint her people, and then get the board's approval. She thought she was the queen bee, I guess. But, you know, she didn't follow proper procedures. So the judge ruled against her. Okay, they put a restraining order. This is so bad. It's so bad you have to put a restraining order for the woman to stop trying to force her unvetted employees on the city or the village. I heard she tried to change the locks at the police department. That's what I heard. I heard she tried to change the locks on the police department door. But anyway, I guess that's when Lacey was trying to still come back in or whatever. But anyway, so you got a restraining order against your appointment, and then you went back in, I guess because it was a chaotic meeting. They were saying, oh, we do need security here. We need somebody to actually be the supervisor of all the police officers because they just doing whatever. I'm assuming that's what happened. And maybe they felt some type of threat. So we do need police at the station or at the village hall. Okay, we're going to grant you. But the people that you're trying to appoint, you didn't even vet them. You didn't even do a background check. Barney Fife that ran against you because you know Rodney. Is his name Ronnie or Rodney? Anyway, Rodney Burge, he actually ran for mayor. Okay, and then you received this letter saying, hey, he's not an active police officer. He hasn't fired his, haven't completed this gun test. He needs to do all these other qualifications to become active again. And then they warned her, you must do a criminal background check. So maybe they know something that Tiffany don't know. You guys put it in chat. Of course you're supposed to do a background check. But why they got to remind Tiffany to do a background? I'm assuming Rodney Burge, whatever, Barney Fife, he got kicked off the police department somewhere. I think that's what happened. I had to pull up his police record. Oh, his name is Burge Sr. Anyway, Ron Burge Sr. I don't know why I was calling him Rodney. So, to me, it's embarrassing. What else could we say about Tiffany Henyard? It's embarrassing that you have to get the court to make sure that you guys are playing fair with each other. Every time something happens, y'all can't even settle your own disputes. You got to go into court. The court got to make judgments because y'all can't even agree on anything. Even with the bank accounts, you can't even agree on that. You can't agree on the appointments. Everybody's doing whatever they want. And I can't say everybody. It's just Tiffany Henyard. She's just trying to have her way. And she makes a hissy and tissy fit like a little child. Anyway, you guys put in the chat. Let me know what you think about that. Lenny saying she's hiring her personal bodyguards. These all cops are to her. Yes. All eyes on me. I really hope Jason House get out to the churches and senior communities so she doesn't get reelected. Yeah, that's going to be important. Pray for the good people of Dalton. Not ordinary. Tiffany ain't good in no hood. Oops, maybe it's Bird Sr. Not for sure. It is Bird Sr. And Bird Sr., he should be retired. He's like my daddy's age. He's 80. He was born in 47. He's close to 80. What are you doing, sir? It's Bird Jr. His daddy's a cop too. Oh, so it's Bird Jr.? Let me look. Because Bird Sr. was born in 1947. He should be retired by now. Oh, see? Look. Are you sure it's Bird Jr. or Bird Sr.? I thought it was Bird Sr. Reason why I think, or maybe they got confused, I would like to see the letter. Now, if you look at appointment, it said Ronald Bird Sr. Start working at Chief Police Friday. I think it was Ronnie Bird Sr. unless she's trying to pull a fast one. Because Bird Jr., reason why they said Bird Jr., what the hell? Both of them ain't no good. Former Chicago police officer this is John Burge. Okay, this is John Burge. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong one. Let me just go back. Ronnie Burge Jr. This is why they probably said for Ronnie Burge Jr. He was convicted of assault. And I'm not registered. He was charged after violent encounter with a 66-year-old woman. That's probably why they said they need to do a criminal investigation or a criminal background check. Dixmoor Commander Ronnie Burge Jr. is charged with aggravated battery and official misconduct over encounter with Carlin Burjol. And this was October, and this was back in 2022. The defendant then carried and dragged the victim back to the police station with her feet at times dangling off the ground. What? She said Burge then purposely slammed the victim's face into the back hallway wall on 3 separate occasions. She has a lawsuit coming. She's shorter than he is. She grabbed him by the private parts and refused to let go. Burge Sr. said she hit her head against the wall because she was because they're trying to control her. They dropped the charges. And she said she denied all what he was talking about. Well, don't they got cameras, body cameras? Anyway, that was back in April of 22nd, and they went to court about it. They went to court about it. But this is not the senior. Senior, it looks like he hasn't been in any trouble. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anything for senior. They look like they sued the village of Dalton. Riley Rogers. Lacey was on the suit too. This opinion case. Anyway. Okay, listen to this. Former Dalton police chief fired for ticketing mayor's campaign truck. It says on April the 8th, 2013, Ronnie Burge Sr. sent an officer to the intersection of Sibley Boulevard and Greenwood Road, where the truck sign was supporting the mayoral candidate Riley Rogers and was illegally parked, according to the lawsuit filed on Friday in the circuit court. I don't know what else is going to say because I can't read it. But it looks like he was fired for that. It seemed like his son is he gets in a lot of trouble. This is another, no, this is the same one. Anyway, you guys put in the chat, let me know what you think. That's all what we got for today, okay? That's all what we got for today. Let's see. Mandates are not law. Policies are not law. The Constitution is the law and the land in the only Constitution. Yep. Riley Rogers was cringe thug too. Yep. Just like Lacey. Yep. That's what it looks like. Well, Senior got caught up lying for his son. Okay. I have to read. I got to do more investigation. Senior is the one that asshole Tiffany was trying to appoint. Well, it looks like he's gonna be able to, unless he might be working right now, unless they got to the court and was able to see the judge with that letter, because this news report came out a couple of days ago. So I don't know. Okay, you guys, let me know what you think. Tomorrow we'll be online, of course. And so I'm sending all my good to you. I will talk to you tomorrow.